Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Batchelor. We begin with news out of the U.S. that's causing panic and confusion around the world, including here in Canada. Donald Trump has signed an executive order temporarily suspending all refugee intake and banning entries from 7 countries with majority Muslim populations, including many screened and approved green card holders. Tina Lovegreen will have local reaction, but first, here's Stephen D'Souza with a report out of New York.
Hamid Darwish spent 10 years helping the U.S. government in Iraq, including working as a translator. He was given a visa to flee persecution and come to America. But when he arrived last night, instead of being welcomed, he was detained.
I have a special immigration visa in my passport, me and my family, because I work with the U.S. government. I support the U.S. government from the other side of the war. But when I came here, they said no, and they treat me as I break the rules or do something wrong. I surprised, really.
His detention was the result of the swift implementation of the executive order signed yesterday by Donald Trump, which temporarily suspends all refugee intake and bans entry from some countries.
We only want to admit those into our country who will support our country and love deeply our people.
7 countries are named, all with majority Muslim populations: Iraq, Iran, Libya, Sudan, Syria, Yemen, and Somalia. That's led to airlines around the world turning away would-be passengers. But more than just foreign citizens, the ban applies to green card holders, people who have already been screened and approved to live and work in the U.S. That could affect up to 500,000 legal U.S. residents.
Some green card holders have been let in. I think this was like a case-by-case basis in which the family lawyers intervened. We're still waiting on getting more information on that. But in general, it's a state of panic and confusion.
Already, the American Civil Liberties Union and refugee groups have launched a legal challenge, with Darwish as lead plaintiff.
One by one, streets by street, if we gotta go to court, we will fight this any place, anywhere. But we will bring justice. We will bring justice to the immigration system in this country.
In Silicon Valley, Google says nearly 200 of its employees are affected and is advising them against traveling outside the U.S. The effects of the ban have even hit Hollywood. Reports say Iranian director Asghar Farhadi, a nominee for Best Foreign Language Film, may not be able to attend the Oscars. Meanwhile, protesters gathered outside the terminal where Darwish had been held. While he was released, at least 11 were detained on this, the first day, and at just one of hundreds of ports of entry in the U.S. Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
And an update to Stephen's story. A federal judge issued an emergency stay tonight that temporarily blocks the U.S. government from sending people out of the country after they have already landed at an American airport with valid visas. And what happens next is anyone's guess. Canadians have already felt the impact. Here in Metro Vancouver, many are wondering where they stand. Tina Lovegreen reports.
It's on the front pages of Iranian newspapers here, and in one way or another, it's impacting nearly every Iranian Canadian, including this lawyer who says she contributed $50,000 to the U.S. economy last year.
And I represent Americans in their immigration and family issues, yet I'm not allowed to go to the United States because I was born in a country that I had no say over.
On Friday, President Donald Trump signed executive orders that banned individuals with nationality or dual nationality from 7 different countries, including Iran, to not be permitted to the U.S. for 90 days. Taimour Azimi was planning to visit his sister in Washington, D.C. in 2 weeks' time. He's already bought his ticket, but now he might not be able to go.
I am sad because, I have relatives in the States and I'd like to be able to visit them.
The order is keeping families and lovers apart.
My girlfriend lives in Seattle, so I go there on my days off usually. And now I don't know what's going to happen.
He was planning to drive down for Valentine's Day. The executive order might also impact his business. He sells specialty pomegranate juice, a popular drink in Iran.
I mean, sometimes I take my product over the border and I don't know. I can't now. I don't know. It's not going to happen from now on.
Donald Trump has got to go!
The news sparked yet again a rally outside of Vancouver's Trump Towers.
I feel really horrible for people that are caught up in the middle of what's happening and families that can't be together.
Protesters here calling on Prime Minister Justin Trudeau to step up.
To make Canada a safe haven for people, to open our doors to people who right now are detained or distressed and stuck.
Earlier, he tweeted, "To those fleeing persecution, terror, and war, Canadians will welcome you. Regardless of your faith, diversity is our strength." And BC Premier Christy Clark didn't stay quiet on the topic either. She tweeted, "BC celebrates diversity and has welcomed thousands of refugees. We will work with the federal government to support stranded refugees." But there is still much confusion on exactly who this impacts. The Canadian government says holders of Canadian passports, including dual citizens, will not be impacted by the ban. Tina Lovegreen, CBC News, Vancouver.
And some of Trump's European allies are uncomfortable with the way the new U.S. president has handled his first week in office. French President Francois Hollande says there are times when friends have to disagree with friends and push back. Hollande was attending a meeting of the leaders of southern European countries. He talked about the ban on some Muslim immigrants and Syrian refugees and called Trump's policy a sharp contrast to the policies of most countries in Europe.